Hey YouTube, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about two instances in my life where I've gotten an attack of just uncontrollable laughter, and it always seems to happen at the worst possible time. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to ask you to please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Now, I don't know if this has anything at all to do with my autism or if it's just my personality. It might be a little bit of both. And I'm sure this is, happens to, neurotypical people too from time to time. But I have a very unique and I think fun sense of humor. But sometimes that sense of humor can cross over the line and just cause me to laugh uncontrollably at um, inappropriate times. And it happens every once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time. Now, I do often laugh at thoughts in my own head, but it's not to the point to where it's like I am trying so hard to fight it and think about something that's not funny, and my shoulders just, I'm like, "Pff," I'm trying to play it cool, you know what I mean? And my shoulders start going up and down to the point to where it's gonna go full blown. And I got to get up from where I'm sitting, whether I'm in the middle of class or whatever, and I have to excuse myself and just go laugh it out. So sometimes it's for a good reason, and sometimes it's not. It's just a thought that popped into my head. Now, the good reason, the story that I want to tell you, is I was sitting in a class, and the instructor had a rule, turn your cell phones off for class. He didn't want, of course, any kind of distractions when he was talking and we were learning. And the guy that was sitting in the row right in front of me, about 15 minutes into the lecture, his phone went off. And so you see him fumbling through his pockets, trying to get his phone out so that he can shut it off. And the teacher was cool. The teacher didn't skip a beat, but the lady that was sitting right in front of him turned around and just gave him the dirtiest, scathing, rebuking look that you could possibly imagine, like for at least 20 seconds, scolding him with her eyes. And he got the phone off and everything went back as, far as usual. But let me just say this. About 10 minutes later, guess whose phone went off too? Yep, you guessed it. The lady that gave him the scathing look for having his phone go off. And I was like, yes, that is justice. It is just the simple things in life that just, make life worth living, that just add an enrich to it, because, none of us are perfect. And, we can be perfect in the sense that we're useful for the intended purpose, but we're not perfect in the sense that we're without flaw and blemish. And so I thought that was neat, but it was one of those instances where I had to excuse myself and just go laugh it out in the bathroom. So I think that was a fairly decent reason. That was hilarious. And another time I was sitting in a class and just paying attention, learning. I do have ADHD, so sometimes um, I have to correct myself. Even when somebody's talking to me, I'll, have to apologize because I'm sorry, can you please repeat that? Because though I was like listening to them, my mind went somewhere else and I stopped listening to them. And I don't do it on purpose. Or even when I'm reading a book, sometimes I'll catch myself that I've actually been reading for a page and a half, 2 pages, and I stopped. Oh, I started thinking about something else, even though I was still reading. So when I catch myself doing that, I got to go back to the place to where I, remember what was going on in the book and reread it over again. So, anyways, one time I was in a class again, and I'm not sitting in the first row. I do prefer, when possible, to sit in the first row all the way to the left. It's just the spot in classrooms that I like to sit if it's available. And so, anyways, it wasn't available, so I'm sitting in, I think it was the third row or something like that. And there's a guy sitting in front of me, and so I'm kind of just looking at the back of his head, and I know that it is not cool to body shame somebody, but I mean, I just couldn't help it. The thought just popped in there. I'm looking at the back of the head, and this is what I saw. like in my mind's eye. And I started to laugh a little bit in my mind, but I felt one of those uncontrollable laughing fits coming on, and I'm like, trying to play it cool again, looking and making sure that trying to put some kind of thought in my head that doesn't have anything to do with that, just trying to think about something not funny. And over time, I start, every once in a while it'll get a little bit better, and then it starts to build up the pressure again, and and then I'm playing it cool, and I'm trying my best, and my shoulders start going up and down, and at that point again I gotta excuse myself and go to the bathroom, because I mean, that's embarrassing. I laugh at my own thoughts all the time, but when it comes into some people, I've even had people ask me, "What's so funny, Mike? What are you laughing at?" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought about something. It's just laughing at one of my thoughts." I'm like, well, "What were you thinking?" and I sometimes I tend to overshare, so I usually don't mind sharing what was the funny thought that was in my mind. But anyways, I just thought that I would share that with you, and I was just wondering, do any of you out there have any stories of when something similar happened to you and you had like an uncontrollable fit of laughter, some funny story that you like to share? Put it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, people.